Two San Francisco Superior Court judges are up for election, but only because two people have decided to challenge them. And the fact that the judges are facing opposition is in itself causing some controversy.
Yeah, critics who say judges are partly responsible for San Francisco's drug and property crime woes, but supporters of the incumbent judges say the criticism is unfair, and they call the elections unnecessary or even dangerous. Wilson Walker has that story.
Look, there's a couple of things that really opened up running. The first thing is looking at the conditions in this surrounding the Tenderloin, surrounding the college here.
Corporate attorney Chip Zecher says it is the drug crisis right outside of UC Hastings that compelled him to run for the bench. And it is judges, he argues, that share some of the blame for the flood of drug dealers on city streets.
Who needs to be accountable and who should be holding accountable individuals and bad actors on our streets?
For me, the choice is pretty straightforward. If this is a job interview, I got 13 years of experience as a judge.
Judge Michael Begert, appointed by Governor Schwarzenegger in 2011, is now in charge of the county's new care court. He says tough on crime judges are not the answer.
You got to address what's causing people to engage in behavior that you don't want them to engage in. If you are expecting one judge to solve these complex social problems, you are probably going to be disappointed.
I am currently the head of the General Felony Trial Unit, and I see the majority of the felony crimes that happen in San Francisco right now.
Jean Roland has spent 23 years in the district attorney's office. Why is she running for judge?
It's important to me to be a part of just doing something different for San Francisco.
I've lived and worked in San Francisco for 30 years. I know the city has lots of challenges. I think voters have frustration.
Judge Patrick Thompson, who Roland is challenging, was appointed by Governor Newsom in 2022, a job he says he does by the book.
I can't stake out ground as saying I'm tough on anything or soft on anything. In my view, that's really inappropriate.
Now, Judges Thompson and Begert would have been reelected automatically had they not faced challengers, and that is partly the result of the work of this man.
Some of the judges are part of the problem. Again, not all the judges. We looked at 14 and only 2 of them we gave failing grades to.
Frank Noto heads Stop Crime SF, a citizen group that has monitored the city's courtrooms looking for judges they believe are too lenient, primarily in respect to drug dealers. Now the challenge on the ballot.
We're a democracy. We have elections. The state constitution provides for elections every 6 years for judges.
It is legal. That doesn't make it right.
Having a race for a judge's seat is not something everyone embraces. Board of Supervisors President Aaron Peskin is among those who have raised questions about the risk of pulling the judiciary into the political arena. He and others have also pushed back against the assessment of the sitting judges' records.
The Trumpian notion that you can make up facts. And it's playing out here in San Francisco with some very, very right-wing forces who are trying to politicize the bench.
You can see I've worked on Hillary's campaign, Obama's campaign.
Noto rejects the right-wing label, and as for the question of electing judges and these challenges,
I mean, judicial elections are elections for a reason.
Issue that I have with this election, it's been so focused on a specific issue about crime and public safety. In some ways, we've lost sight that our focus should be on a fair, independent judiciary, because that's what I hope the public really wants.
The people have a right, a constitutional right, to weigh in on what their judges are doing.
I don't think the question is whether I should be challenged. I think there's a larger question about whether judges should be elected.
That legal, maybe philosophical discussion not on the ballot, so voters left with an old-fashioned choice: 2 races, 2 candidates.
Right? It's not a self-interest, it's public interest.
I'm a by-the-book type of judge that's consistent with how I was trained as a lawyer.
So I feel very confident that we're going to help change the direction of public safety on our streets here.
We have a system where judges are elected, and I'm more than happy to campaign for my job.
Parsing through years of court cases, often involving details that are not even available to the public. That is a big ask of voters, and everyone we spoke with for this story acknowledged that. 2008, by the way, the last time a San Francisco judge lost a re-election campaign.